are illegally camping in one local park. More on how the park is dealing with the problem. Thousands of people die every year in fires. Do you know how to prepare in case of a fire emergency? We will tell you how tonight.
And I just want to make my mom proud.
He hasn't even entered high school and he's already set for college. Meet this special kid.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Ashley Soriano. We've got breaking news. A University of Georgia student accidentally shot himself in the leg. Grady Newsource reporter Katie Kim is live at the chemistry building where it happened.
Thanks, Ashley. As you said, I'm here in front of the chemistry building and where the accident occurred, and I'm gonna be looking down at my notes to make sure that I'm giving you this information correctly. The accident where the student accidentally shot himself in the leg happened in room 422. That's the undergraduate chemistry major lounge room. I spoke with Gloria Hurd, who's a building service worker here at UGA, and she told me that he was still sitting upright in his chair after he shot himself when she saw him. I have an audio clip of her explaining to me what the injured student told her when she saw him.
When I look back, he say he didn't mean to do it and go get some help, and I ran.
Katie, so she went to get help. Do you have information on what happened after? Did the student get help?
That's a great question, Ashley. So the police were able to respond in minutes, but one student, Brian Huang, was actually able to get to the scene quicker. He was filling up his water bottle when he heard what he thought was a round, and he instantly went to the room. And that's when his instincts took over, and that's when he applied his skills that he learned during his training with the National Guard. He was able to make a tourniquet for the injured student on his upper leg, and he talks about, we have more on how he does it.
When I grabbed his charger and a marker and made a tourniquet on his upper leg, and then I kept holding pressure onto the wound, and then I moved him to the couch where he laid down, and I elevated both of his legs.
Thanks, Katie. We spoke with Jen Ryan with the Board of Regents Office of Communications after the shooting. She emailed us that this is the first incident.
We're hoping that the student will be able to recover soon. Back to you, Ashley.
Thanks, Katie. Now, we spoke with Jen Ryan, and she emailed us that this is the first incident within the university system of Georgia of an accidental discharge since campus carry was passed in 2017. We'll provide you with further updates. Now, people without a home may need a place to stay, but it can't be at a local public park. Grady Newsource reporter Tara Brawley shows you how the Sandy Creek Nature Center balances the needs of those looking for refuge on park grounds and those looking for recreation.
This is where some homeless people spend their nights. They're drawn in by the benches, the shelter, and the power.
Their campsite may leave a lot of items around that maybe are, things that not only could be an eyesore, but some items and things that couldn't be safe for the general public.
Randy Smith has worked at the Sandy Creek Nature Center for 20 years, and he has noticed an increase in the number of homeless individuals camping in the park.
And we have had just some increasing instances where homeless folks will spend the night on one of the porches at the center, or maybe have a tent set up.
That's a direct violation of both the Sandy Creek Nature Center's rules and Athens-Clarke County park regulations. Finding the solution is a delicate balance between empathy for those with no home and keeping the park safe for visitors. It's why the Athens-Clarke County government approved a new position of outreach coordinator.
We're going to be getting together the groups of the departments with that individual and then working to see what we can do to be more effective, and maybe some changes, or even looking at some different policies and what we might be able to do to help the situation short term and longer term.
Cochran Davis knows the impact this issue has on the community.
This isn't something that's individual to our department, individual to the government, or just one segment of the community. This affects all of us.
Tara Brawley, Grady Newsource.
For more information on available resources, you can go to athenshabitat.com/assistant/shelter-resources. Most people who die from fires die in their own homes. That's according to the National Fire Protection Association. A way to save yourself and your family: have a fire escape plan. Grady Newsource reporter Tasia Harper shows you how to make and follow your plan.
This week is Fire Prevention Week, and the Athens-Clarke County Fire and Rescue team would like for you to know that not all heroes wear a cape. That is why they want you to plan and prepare in case of an emergency with a fire escape plan such as this one. Come on in and I'll show you how I use mine. Welcome to my home. I'm going to take you through my fire escape plan. I have a primary exit, a secondary exit, and 3 windows. I'll show you what that looks like. My primary exit route is my front door. So anyone that's upstairs or in the bathrooms upstairs will have to go through this door to escape in the case of an emergency. Also, if you're sitting on the couch watching TV, or if you're sitting down at the dining room table eating a meal, your primary escape route would also be out the front door. You can also have more than one escape route. If you're downstairs in the bathroom, or if you're in the kitchen, or if you're doing laundry, your escape route would be different. If you're in the kitchen doing laundry or using the downstairs bathroom, you would use the secondary escape route, and that would be the back door. Also, in your fire escape plan, you should list each and every window in your home just in case doors are blocked. In my kitchen, I have 1, and follow me. In my living room, I have 2 more. Once everyone gets out of the house, the last and final part of the fire escape plan is to have a meeting spot where everybody can meet up in one central location. Mine is my neighborhood dumpster. So there you have it. I now have an escape plan for my home, and I challenge you to make one for yours. Tasia Harper, Grady Newsource.
Don't forget to communicate your plan to any roommates or people that visit your home. If you want more information about making your own escape plan, visit www.fpw.org. Watkinsville Mayor is running for re-election just 1 year after running unopposed in a special election. And this time, he has a challenger. For Ann Woodruff, education in the arts and culture of Watkinsville are important.
I've also seen the arts community here has expanded. And we are now known as an art mecca for Georgia. And that's important. The arts and the culture for this community has a tourist attraction, has a vibrancy, has a value added to this place.
For her daughter Luna, the place she calls home is important too. The mom and daughter attended the first mayoral candidate forum October 3rd at City Hall to make sure their concerns were heard.
I just colored.
Like Woodruff and Luna, more than 70 residents were in attendance, nearing fire safety capacity. Mayor Dave Sheeran wants to preserve the legacy, culture, and history of Watkinsville, home to 39,000 people.
I'm fond of saying we operate like a city, but we want to live like a small town.
That's why Sharon is running for re-election.
So the mayor job seemed to be the right place to see if I could give back a little bit to what we have gotten from this great community.
His challenger, Bob Smith, a former state representative and third-generation Watkinsville resident, wants to increase government transparency and address traffic concerns. But overall,
with foremost on my mind, Watkinsville first.
The two took questions from the audience with only 2 minutes to answer each. Questions ranged from, why did you run for mayor? Do you support the schools? And what transportation improvements will you make?
We've got to slow traffic down in Watkinsville. We've got to get the congestion out.
I unsuccessfully reached out to Smith multiple times to request an interview. He did not return emails, and a phone call was disconnected. You can cast your vote for Watkinsville Mayor and 2 City Council posts on November 5th. Your voting precincts can be found on oconeycounty.com. If last month's heat felt more unbearable than ever, you're on to something. September 2019 was the hottest September ever recorded. If the record-breaking temperatures aren't hot enough, a local leading international expert on weather says this trend has been going on for years.
Yeah, you could definitely feel it because I'm a freshman, so I live in Russell. A lot of my classes are on North Campus, so like sweating halfway through class was definitely not fun.
But it was unavoidable with this September record-breaking heat.
Every month's not going to always be the warmest month, but we're trending with climate change towards a scenario where we're in a new normal.
Dr. Marshall Shepard, director of the Atmospheric Science Program at the University of Georgia and a national leading expert in weather and climate change, is not shocked about the record-breaking temperatures in September.
You've kind of followed this carefully. This is just one of several of these types of records over the last several years.
According to Shepard, temperature increase worldwide has been more significant over the past 20 to 25 years.
It's been like crazy hot and it's like very late for that.
Eric Solorzano, Grady Newsource.
To find more information about where and how temperatures are increasing, visit the National Centers for Environmental Information website. Coming up, more on the newest sport where Georgia leads the nation.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and stress-reducing benefits parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans along. We strongly recommend starting with your family.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Before even leaving the middle school, 4 local students received scholarships to pay for college. Grady Newsource reporter Alex Rios tells us how this scholarship opens doors to students who will be the first to attend college.
The band, the cheerleaders, the crowd. All the marks of a typical high school football pep rally, but not this time. This time, they are all here for the fanfare for these 4 Reach Georgia Scholars. Madison County's graduation coach, Renee McCannon, says going to college becomes very possible for first-generation students.
There's a lot of kids in Madison County that may never think of going to college. And one, because of financial reasons. 2, it's just never been a thing that happened, in their family, that no one in their family went to college.
Thailand native Thao Tu is one of the 4.
And I just want to make my mom proud.
And from the look on her face, she is. Alex Rios, Grady Newsource.
With the help of the Reach Georgia Scholarship, after graduation, Thaw 2 hopes to work at Google one day. If you are a high school gamer and play League of Legends, Rocket League, or Smite, you have a chance to win a state title. October 11th is the last day for Georgia high schools to register varsity esports teams with the Georgia High School Association.
Last year was the first year that Georgia High School began offering esports as a varsity option. Now, Georgia leads the nation in student esport participation. The rules and mechanics, however, can be a little confusing to learn, and if you're a parent trying to cheer on your kid, can make things hard.
Still, I think it's still perceived as like in the minds that video games are just something you play for fun, but it's not like real sports.
Go to Grady Newsource and look for this image. This is Summoner's Rift, the map for League of Legends, the most popular student esport. And I'll walk you through when to cheer and what to cheer for. It's a 3-lane map with 2 objectives on either side, and it can get messy. Join us on Grady Newsource for more.
13,000 high schools around the country are already registered with PlayVersus, the official league for high school esports.
Do you respect the specs? The SEC does. That story coming up.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Do you respect the specs? Apparently some members of the SEC do. For the 3rd time this year, Georgia senior place kicker Rodrigo Blankenship was named the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week. It's the 5th time in his career. We've seen that phrase on everything from buttons to gingerbread cookies. Grady Newsource reporter Kat Hendricks has the story.
Georgia football fans are passionate about their team, but there's one player in particular that has captured the hearts of the Dog Nation. Place kicker Rodrigo Blankenship.
And the kids love him. He's adored by the kids, so.
The redshirt senior from Marietta, Georgia, has grown to become the most successful field goal kicker in UGA history.
I love Rodrigo Blankenship, better known as Hot Rod, because he saves the day. He's like Mighty Mouse to me.
Sharon isn't alone. You'll find tons of items sporting Rodrigo's signature Respect the Specs motto. There's t-shirts, buttons, gingerbread men, and even this.
I'm not sure which one it is, but this player was my favorite last night. The Bulldogs kicker. His name is Rodrigo Blankenship. They call him Hot Rod. I like everything about this guy.
So he's very humble, and although he could be a diva, he just is calm and does what he's supposed to do. And as Kirby would say, he chops the wood.
His admirers include men, women, groups of Swedish exchange students.
Raise your hand if you respect the specs.
Yes.
And 3-year-old boys who want to be just like him when they grow up.
Everybody just goes crazy. I mean, everybody respects the specs.
Kat Hendrick, Grady Newsource.
Blankenship is the nation's top scoring kicker with 60 points through 5 games.
My name is Eric Solorzano, and coming up, I'll have your forecast for the rest of this week, how isolated thunderstorms could be affecting your area, and highlighting how September last month was the hottest September recorded on Earth.
Hello.
Hi, I'm from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you, and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Again?
Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes, the sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, you know, they're the end pieces of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away, not to mention zucchini flower. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that, oh.
Again?
I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta, a different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit SaveTheFood.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Laughing too hard at one of your colleagues' jokes at the office party? He's not even funny. Warning sign, those drinks are probably going to your head. Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
And now, the weather.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Solorzano, and I'm your weather reporter for this week. Upcoming, I'm going to have, well, your upcoming weather, upcoming forecasts. I'll tell you what your week is going to look like. I'll also have an update for you on how isolated thunderstorms could be affecting your county tonight. And I'll also go back and name some points that I missed earlier in today's show about how this last month was September's and the Earth's hottest ever September recorded. So I'll go into tonight's forecast. Tonight we're going to look starting around 6 p.m. Partly cloudy, starting at 75 degrees. As we go further into the night, we'll see around 9 p.m. still partly cloudy, 66 degrees. And at midnight, we're going to see the night end off at 64 degrees. All right, and then tomorrow in the day, we're going to start off at 9 a.m. with 63 degrees, partly cloudy still. Right around noon, we'll hit 71 degrees, still partially cloudy. And 3 p.m., we'll start off the afternoon with 76 degrees, still partly cloudy. Going into the 5-day forecast, what we have for the rest of the week. So Wednesday is going to start partly sunny at a high of 80 degrees. Thursday through Saturday and Sunday, you'll see that it will remain partly to mostly sunny. Thursday will be 81 degrees with a high of 81 there. Friday, 83 degrees. Saturday going into 82 at a high of 79 also as well on Sunday. You will see as well that the lows are pretty consistent, starting off at low, high 50s at the 60 and finishing off in the low 50s. All right, and if we take a look at the map here, we're going to see that there will be a couple of low temperatures across cities in our neighboring area, 60 degrees at Chattanooga and Rome and Blairsville. All across these cities, you'll see about 60 degrees. And about highs, you will see also the 80s to low 70 ranges. All right, in that forecast I was telling you about how isolated storms may be affecting your area, counties like Athens, Oconee, Madison, and Oglethorpe will be affected by isolated thunderstorms. And as I mentioned earlier, that last month was just the hottest September ever recorded on Earth. So just to hit some few points there, it affects areas like Europe, the Arctic, here in the US, and also countries like Australia. And if you didn't know, that yesterday was it was completely recorded, so many highs and not enough lows throughout the entire month of September.
Look at these works of art. More on how these pianos were transformed when we come back.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
As we told you at the beginning of the show, University of Georgia student accidentally shot himself with his own gun, according to UGA Communications. We are back live at the chemistry building with Katie where it happened. Katie, are there any updates?
That's right, Ashley. Like you said, I'll reiterate again, a student shot himself in the leg with his own gun in the chemistry building behind me. While he was just trying to check if his gun was loaded or not. We did receive an update. We received an update that he was transferred to Piedmont Hospital, but those are the only updates as of now. We'll update you as more updates come along. But yeah, that's just about it.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks for tuning in. As you know, the news doesn't stop here. Make sure to visit our website at GradyNewsource.com. I'm Ashley Soriano.
Is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys, preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hello and welcome to our Thursday night post show. Tuesday. You know, it's been a long day. All right. So we actually had tag team directing today for our different live blocks. Our A block was directed by Sam, and then our E block was directed by Lady. So let's see here. Notes for you guys. There was a little bit of a hiccup with the start of sports block, but so just whenever you're out, just keep an eye on when your block is supposed to record. But overall, it was a good job catching up. Like, we actually recovered for that, and then we were ahead of schedule, which was fantastic. Basically, other than that, everyone was prepared ahead of time to go down and start recording. And let's see here. There was a little bit of a hiccup during the live show with the live shot reporter and the anchor just not being able to communicate. That happens sometimes. We're going to look into ways that might clear that up a little bit, but I think for the most part it was just a last-minute breaking news thing, so we weren't all exactly on the same page on what was going to happen. We'll circle back around to that. Let's see here. One thing that I do have to say about scheduling was that please get your packages in on time. We had a fair few that were dropped after the package deadline, and it would really help, especially when we have breaking news days like this where we have to do a lot of things last minute and then adjust last minute. If we just have those in on time, that way that's just one less thing that we have to worry about. Let's see here. You were the one who was actually checking this. Do you remember which ones?
So it was Record Heat was dropped late, Rodrigo was dropped late, Watkinsville. Homeless was like right on the line. It was either like right on deadline or a little late.
Overall, thank you for communicating so much, especially Carly, especially with just this morning when I came in, we had a rundown, we had this is what's going to happen, and then every time there was an update, people communicated with me, and that made today go very smoothly overall. Even with the scheduling hiccups, just the communication really smoothed out stuff that otherwise, it made molehills out of what could have been mountains. I swear I can talk. And the one thing I do have to say is that the E-Block tees did run, and that was for the wrong story. So I feel like that was just something that we weren't paying attention to when we probably should have remembered, but it just didn't occur to me even as we were adjusting. So you guys can go ahead and share what you guys had in your joint directing experience today.
Okay, you guys killed it, first of all. Like, great job. Ashley, we threw a lot at you with the switching cameras. You did really great. The only thing I would say, and it's directed towards someone who's not here, but when you're on live shot and you have a SOT in your live shot, usually when you're throwing it to the SOT, you end it with like, I spoke to such and such and this is what they had to say. And Katie did that today, and I took her SOT, but then she kept talking under it. So we had to go back to her. So that's just like the one thing to make sure it's clean when we don't have a script and you guys don't have a script. Normally, like, a nice end point is like, and I spoke to them, this is what they said. So that way it makes it easier on the director to know, like, oh, this is where I take the SOT. Other than that, though, everything was great. Good job.
Yeah, and I also thought that everything went well. Great job adjusting to the cameras. You did a really good job with that. The only thing I would say is when you're going to go back to a live, that's communicated as clearly as possible, even if you have no idea whether you're going back or not. Make sure that like you're letting your people out in the field know that, because it was a lot in my ear, like, are we going back out, are we going back out, and I don't have the answer to it, obviously, because it's y'all's show. So just make sure that that's communicated well, and the second that you decide that you're going to go back out to them, that it's known, so we can get everything squared away on our end.
Well, that's all the notes on our end. Overall, pretty good show, and thank you guys so much. That's everything that I have to say.
Nice job. All right, producer.
Okay, so overall I thought we did really good, especially with the breaking news. Katie pivoted really well, and a couple other people pivoted today, and I want to applaud you for that. I have a couple notes. Make sure you always put the lower thirds. I saw in a few that they were missing, and that's not good at this point in the semester. They should always be there. Again, audio. I noticed on the record heat package the audio was a little off. Alex, I thought that the shot that you did with Renee was well lit and very nice. Everyone needs to make sure always light your people. You can really tell when it is lit. Let's see. On my end, I need to work more on the timing and then communicating the live shot. That was on my end. I should have communicated better to Katie that she was going to be live in the E-block. But overall, I thought we did really good.
Okay, digital.
So I told myself whenever I got up on this ledge that I would always have a bunch of notes and critiques to say, but I'm really going to be honest, I don't have many, because I just see how hard we all worked, even though it was complete chaos after like 2:30 today. I really feel like everybody kind of pushed as hard as they could. I'll give another compliment to you, Alex, looking at your pictures that you got for digital today. They were really great, very well lit. With all the breaking news stuff happening today, I really just think it kind of threw us for a loop, and that's exactly what we're here for. So as we always say, persistence is key in these kind of situations, and I saw a lot of persistence, even though sometimes we did fall short, myself included. So yeah, or on Thursday, I'll be able to have a whole bunch of notes, and I'll just be able to roast you guys endlessly. But today, I really don't have I don't have too much to say besides we did work hard. Yes, we may have fell short, but overall, good work, team.
All right, so today I think it was going very smoothly until about 3:30 and 4. But yeah, I know Katie's not here. I wish she was here. She handled everything very well. Me and Francisco are out here making calls even during the live show, and we're talking to her over Unity, and she was able, her live shot in the E was good, so I was really proud of her about that. But yeah, other than that, for that story, today wasn't too bad for me, because you guys all seem to be, at least know what you're doing and a lot about your story. I just, I only had to help people with a few things that weren't a big deal at all, obviously. But yeah, Tasia, I really liked your package. I'm glad I got to film that, because I think it added a lot having it move. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. So I've got, some notes. But we start off the day going, okay, we really want to focus on storytelling, because you guys have all been, no, the journalism, and kind of getting those reps in there. So we made a decision that you guys would do some things. Let me interrupt myself to say, Katie, you did a great job today. And the only criticism I would have of Katie is that when she said, hey, they think there's a shooting at the Chem building, should I just go there? And the answer was, hell yeah. Actually, but I like the way you asked it, because it was more like this. There's been a shooting at the Chem building. Should I just go there? Which is what you need to do. There's no news happening in the newsroom, right? And Katie demonstrated why that's so important, which leads me to a lot of some conversation I need to have with you guys about getting out of this newsroom. We decided this morning, okay, you guys want to do some lightweight stuff, and I went, you know what? I can live with that, because I want to work on storytelling with you all. And but I felt you all defaulted to some pretty bad habits and some pretty poor practices. Basic Journalism 101. Today, thanks to Katie, we were able to get that story on. And again, she did a phenomenal job. And you guys did have a team effort. But if we're honest, how much of that was constantly, how many callbacks did we make? Because we didn't ask all the questions. Because we didn't ask the basic who, what, when, where, how. Because we didn't get somebody's name. Because we had to call back and ask somebody their title. Guys, that's just basic. You know, and once you reach somebody, especially in a situation like this, you think they're going to pick up the phone again? They've had, maybe not. Once you get a hold of somebody, you've got to be prepared. And that journalism gene has got, you guys are seniors. Guys, that should be muscle memory. That's muscle memory by now, got it? Now the other thing in writing, I spent a lot of time, and at one point I just stood up and said, wait, what am I doing? I'm rewriting this. Wait, I'm not the journalism student. What am I teaching if I'm going to sit there and fix it? I won't, as your professor, I'm not going to do that to you. It really dishonors you, and I'm not going to do it. But basic writing, starting, unless you're writing about Bay, like B-A-Y, Bay, or a Kardashian, or from my generation, Cher, you don't start with a proper noun that nobody knows who they are, okay? So I'm sitting here rewriting, why do we have this proper noun in here? You know, the story's the story, not the person. Unless, again, Bay, Kardashian, or in my generation, Cher, okay? So it was frustrating to go, who's Cher? No, Bay. Is that not Beyonce? B? Okay, see? See? Okay, B, so what is it? B-E, is it B-E-Y? So you just call her like B-E-Y? Well, was I supposed to spell it? I mean, didn't I say Bay? Oh, did I say B-A-Y? I know it's B-E-Y. In my notes, it's B-E-Y. B-E-Y, and I had Kanye in there, but that I really, but then I went, no. Okay, no. Well, maybe because I'm married to a Kardashian. But the bottom line is, you know, these basics, we lost time. I was, you know, this breaking news thing happening today was really great for you guys. And what it did is exposed in some of you the strength of your muscle memory and in some of you the weakness of your muscle memory. So I would just encourage you guys to all think about that and go, ooh, what would I do different? You know, be ready-er, okay? Because once you make that one call, you don't want to make calls again. You know, sometimes you'll have to, but you shouldn't. You guys did a really terrific job getting the Board of Regents and getting that information. That was important information. This campus carry legislation passed a couple of years ago. We need to follow up on that, guys. Why would, you know, and to keep verifying this information and keep following up on it. This is an important story. One of the things that was a little frustrating to me, I saw where somebody wrote, quote of the day, no smartboard for 2 weeks. You know, I'll set rules in stone, and then I want you guys to fight to break them. What's happened with the smart boards, I've been disappointed because we've seen some, you know, the smart board, it's a cool gadget. It's sort of like when live trucks were first invented. Yes, I do remember that. And everything was live. I'm going to be live in front of a brick building. It'll be fabulous. I'm going to be live in the dark. You won't know where I am, but it's live and it's fabulous because we're so enamored with the technology, and rightly so. And the smart board has a delightful and really important application for journalism that's going to be of real, true value to your audiences. And that's information that makes a difference in people's lives, that but for you, they don't have time to get it. So the smart board's great. If you've downloaded a bunch of data, that's important. You know, you've downloaded, you know, crime data in particular neighborhoods, and then you use the smart board to show us how you sorted and filtered that data and how that data is relevant to people in the neighborhoods and communities that watch us. That's great use of the smart board. But to use the smart board as a way to stay in the newsroom, not get sound bites, talk to somebody on the phone and not shoot video, that's lame. It's not creative. And it's just bad TV, okay? And I think some of you think, well, I'm not really going to be broadcast. You know, if I can get rid of that word, when you think about the term broadcast, what is that? It's casting over the airways to a broad audience, right? the technology is irrelevant. What you're doing is you're getting news and information that has import and impact, import to and impact on your viewer, and you're putting it out to them in ways that are digestible and easy to understand and engaging. And it would be nice if Tolstoy could stand here and read the 800 or whatever pages of War and Peace and have us all sitting here going, oh, it's not how the world works. Probably they want a video, you know? Mr. Schmay and I were talking about that today, about what's going to be more compelling, watching somebody talk about a video trailer of a movie that's being produced, or watching the video trailer. What compels people? So you guys need to get out, and if you've got some concerns, I am picking up that there's some concerns about packages that we've gotten a little gun shy about getting out and talking to people. Kat, I felt like, you know, you said you hit a dead end and you came back in here. I would encourage you guys, seconds do count. Once we kind of pushed you back out there again, I liked your story very much. I also believe your story could have been of much higher quality had you not come back here. I mean, he wasn't here. Or was he? Is that his shirt? No, he wasn't. Nor anybody else that you would be able to use. And I get sometimes we need succor and sometimes we need support. You know, can we just text you? Or can you text us? Isn't that what your generation? No? You need to come back? Just remember the seconds do count. And I think you guys really learned that with the breaking news. Kat, also with your story, when you talked about the gingerbread men and all that, I know you had that video because you showed it to me, but I didn't see it in the story. It would have been really, really good to have had that. And I don't know if that was a function of just, I got to get it in and I don't have time. Yeah, so again, what happens if at the front end we dray around, not because we're intentionally trying to be slack, but maybe we're just not sure what to do or frustrated or something, just know those are seconds you're losing at the end. And your audio, we had a hard time hearing. So don't put yourself, if you're creative people, don't put yourself in that circumstance. Get out there, stay out there, because ultimately what you had and the way you wrote to it was really very good. Did y'all like her story? Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was fun. And you know what? It's something that people were engaged with, right? Let's see. I liked, where are you? Alex, I liked your story. I liked how you did that. The gnat sound was a little bit too long. You can have too much of a good thing. You know, at the beginning of the band, just, you know, probably didn't need quite that much, okay? Just draw us in orally, visually, and then tell us what the story's about. But I liked it. I liked that you had the interview with that young man. I loved the pre-show. I think, Soriano, you delivered that beautifully. I actually, when she was writing the pre-show, I go, nobody cares about that kid. And you know what? Yeah, I kind of did. And I kind of cared because of how it was written, and I cared because of how it was delivered. I was actually looking forward to meeting that kid. And you know me, a feature, bah humbug. All righty then. So let's walk through here real quick. Katie, do you want to say anything about your live experience and what happened with you? I thought you did a super job getting interviews with people.
Yeah, like I was feeling pretty discouraged because I was just really walking up to anyone I crossed paths with, and they were all saying, we can't speak to you. I tried to speak with 4 different police officers. They all said I had to reach out to Greg, and I'm not going to talk about that on air, but yeah, like I knew that there were 2 students who had kind of been a part of the situation, and I knew that they were being interrogated, so I just kind of waited outside the door, and as they came out, I kind of stopped them, and I was like, hey, let's talk. And so one of them was really willing to talk to me, and then I talked to another student who actually commented on the overheard post that went up on Facebook. And then as I was talking to him, the woman, Gloria, she was listening, and then she said she wanted to also talk to me. So I felt like I was really lucky in that moment.
No such thing.
Well, I felt lucky.
You were persistent.
But,
you felt lucky, but you were persistent. You didn't get a buff, you didn't come home, you didn't call us and tell us we didn't have anything. You know, you stuck to it, just stuck to it and stuck to it. And it's important people had a right to know, and this was in the public interest.
So, yeah, like the whole thing, it was pretty intimidating because, you know, it was more of a heavier thing in a way. But honestly, my experience was pretty great just because I had so many people helping me. I had Francisco, Caroline, everyone was kind of on it. So I was kind of like, I trusted everyone that they were going to help me tell my story, so, or tell the story, not my story. But yeah, overall, I would say the experience was honestly pretty good. It was very eye-opening for sure.
Good. And I think one of the eye-opening things were, you never know when music, you know, it was funny when Caroline said, yeah, it was pretty chill, you know, we're having a good old time, and then boom, breaking news happens. You know how I'm always telling you guys at 10 o'clock, okay, you shot video and everything, that should be ready at 10:30, and you guys go, she'll forget about it, so I'll have it to her too, and you're right. I'm going to start setting my alarms on my iPhone with your names beside it. 10:30. Whoop, it's 10:31. Where's my stuff? The reason we do that is not because we're going, you know, it's because, A, you do need to learn to do your critical thinking and do it quickly and get it out on paper to move on to the next thing. Because you don't know when that next thing's going to happen. I've seen this happen in this newsroom and in others where everybody's lollygagging around with their story, although you don't think you're lollygagging. You think you're like intensely trying to do the best thing you can possibly do. Next thing you know, you got 6 packages in the A block that could have been ready an hour ago or even an hour and a half or 2 hours ago, and they're all bumping up against showtime, and then you have a shooting, an accidental shooting. Who can do it? Well, I'm finishing up my package. Well, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And we needed some help today. And some of you shouldn't have been bumping against that deadline. You know, Francisco, great. Caroline, you know, one of the things we talked about, we didn't let you know that you were in the E-block. You know, the content manager is that fulcrum between digital and the producer. Producer's in the booth. So content managers going back and forth go, hey, what do you want to do, producer? I want her live in the E. Okay, I'll go talk to her. That's great, but it can't happen if she's over here calling Board of Regents, or I saw at one time pulling sound bites.
Yeah, I put together the package.
Yeah, so again, I would say we needed some help, and some of you were late putting things together, and you shouldn't have been. You should have been available. So I would challenge you guys to really work on that. There's some stuff that took all day that shouldn't have. And that's to your benefit. Tasia, I liked what you did. I liked your ideation. It brings me to a point I want to make about digital and multi-platform. One of the things that was kind of an aha moment for me today, Aaron was doing something, was digital, and Tasia was digital. Alex as well. And Alex Rios was digital. But one thing, weren't you digital last week too? How'd you wind up digital 2 weeks in a row? Okay, all right. Okay. But interestingly enough, you were the only one that had any video. And some reason you guys are getting in your head that to be digital is to be text-based or graphics. And if I push you hard enough, you might go get a sound bite. And I want you all, it's really important to your futures that you recast that. And it's really important that I help you to do that. Because if you don't get that yet, then, you know, I've got to own that. I have not created the opportunity, the impetus, or the right yelling words, which is probably not going to do anything either, to get you to understand that multi-platform news production is about using different types of media for telling and selling the story. So when Tasia did her burn thing, which I really loved that idea. I thought it was a superb idea. And I think the walkthrough she did was great, and I wish she had somebody else. I'm glad she had somebody else shoot with her. I would say that was kind of a difficult, probably a learning for both of you, wasn't it? So I would have liked to have seen some close-up shots so that we didn't have quite as many jump cuts. So think about that. If you're going to do a walkthrough with one person, and you can't do the whole walkthrough because we would have been, you know, it'd have been a 15-minute long package, and now we're in the line room, and now we're, you know, it takes a while. So you know you have to make edits. So always think, I still need to use wide, medium, tight, tight, tight. Going inside and then going outside, the lighting can be tricky. So just, you know, those are things you learn from that. But I thought the idea was really, really good. Meet me at the dumpster. I think after a while, going through your house becomes, I think you could have maybe frozen some frames. Like I liked when you said, come with me. I've got one window here, and then you said, come with me. You were very natural, and you know, that was engaging. And then you said, and I've got 2 windows in the living room here. It would have been nice if, you know, that how you drew out your house. If maybe you said, you know, start with a drawing of your home. Now, where are your windows? Where are your doors? And maybe have marked that so it wasn't just all you walking through. I found myself compelled by the little thing, meet me at the dumpster. Now, I think you could have made more of that. You did the say, and my place is at the dumpster. But I was already thinking, that's kind of cool. Meet me at the dumpster. Everybody at the dumpster. So the idea was good. I wonder what it might have been if I wouldn't have spent a ton of time. I think that was one case where you could get away without talking to people because you had the information, but you might have been able to do something more with some visuals. In your case, I think yours was a TV story, but I don't know if you had been digital. You kind of just defaulted to the smart board.
Yeah. I defaulted to the smart board more in the fact that like I saw that I just had a bunch of stats, and that for me was doing what you had said that you envisioned for a smart board, to do something creative and interactive, kind of like what Alex did last week at the smart board too. So that's what I envisioned immediately. But then just talking to you about it definitely made it seem like there was a more human aspect to it. There was a more, of that.
Information, yes. But why is information important? And why is some information not important? Yeah, because some of it doesn't have impact. My grandson asking me if I want to have his collection of bug exoskeletons. I mean, it's interesting information. It's not terribly impactful to me. Now, if he were to tell me, you know, something bad happened to him at school, I want that information that's impactful to somebody that I care about. So think about that. And anytime there's impact, and if it's going to be in a news show, it better have impact, or why are we doing it? Because news time is precious. So Erin, I think with yours too, yours wound up, again, a smart board kind of thing, kind of a demonstration. And again, it sounds like I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm saying yours wasn't okay, and hers was okay. Why is that? Anybody want to try to answer that? Because it can be confusing. Yeah, hand the mic to Ashley.
Well, in terms of defaulting to the smart board, I think what we've seen when it's not creative, it's just having an image in the background, and I've been at fault for that. And the smart board's meant to be interactive, but any TV pieces are also supposed to be interactive. Tasia interacted with us.
Yeah, we walked through. She gave us a peek behind the curtain. Erin, did you have anything you wanted to share? Any aha moment or gee whiz moment? You know, whichever.
After watching, I could have taken that same picture and put it on just over the screen instead of standing in front of it, and just drawn in the lines, step by step, and it would have been the exact same except cleaner. So, just yeah.
And I think with yours, yours would have been why I would have loved to have seen some people playing these games. Now, in contrast, I don't want to see somebody burning in a house fire. I really don't. But seeing somebody playing those games would have been valuable. So I'm going to say this week and next, Francisco has memorialized it. No smart board for 2 weeks. If you've got something that, by golly, the viewer is absolutely ill-served if I don't use the smart board, then fight for it. But I want to see video, your 2 interviews, and I want to see real creativity in storytelling, and I want you to be a part of that, and great stand-ups or walkthroughs. Does that make sense? And guys, please, let's not go back to, Journalism 101. Today was your first whoa, breaking news, and I think it shook you guys a little bit. So at least learn, let's get everything done early, because we don't know when there'll be breaking news. Okay? So that's one big learning. And number two, let's not do things 2 and 3 times at the basic level. Because we want to spend time doing 2 or 3 times at the narrative level, at great storytelling. I loved spending time with you last week, learned to write to video. It made today a lot easier, you know, once you have some of these skills embedded in you. Does that make sense to everyone? Anybody have any comment, concerns, criticisms, perhaps a joke?
That's our post-show critique for tonight. Everybody have a good night.
I guess not.